Hello, party people. Today was a part of an eventful week. Just something happened that it it really hit close to home, and obviously I can't go into details about it, but this pause is not for. It's not meant to be a dramatic pause. It's not intentional. There was some people who came into the place today, and they were East Asian. I mean, I don't know the specifics, but um, um, it was very similar to a very early and first incident that happened to me. I don't know, maybe like I don't even know how many years ago. Maybe like 10 years ago or so. Um, I I tried my best with my broken English. Not broken English. Broken Cantonese. One of the first things I said was I spoke to one of the older people, and I like I said I did my best. So I asked them Mia Si Tung Hoi, and a loose translation of that is a very crude translation of it, but that's I guess that's what it translates to. It's not with the same intention. It translates to what's wrong with him, and then I got the whole story, and when you think how many people get lost in the system in terms of mental health, when you think about how many people fall through the cracks, or they're not I don't want to say they're not curable, if you want to call it that. You wonder how well they're going to do, assuming they do well at all. I mean, there's people who spend their entire lives. I I guess the name slips me at the moment, but like sort of like a retirement home where they're constantly monitored. There were some differences because I noticed from my personal experience, I didn't have a problem being lucid. I I believe, and to the best of my knowledge, I was able to answer questions. Uh, I knew where I was. I wasn't delusional. I was just really really depressed, and this was um this was back when I came home from Vegas, like permanently. Well, maybe at least for that permanently. Um, like obviously sometimes it's hard to understand what's going through someone's head. There were just so many similarities, even though there were some major differences, but there were so many small to big similarities. And I don't know, I just felt bad. I I feel like the system failed him. And that happens sometimes, unfortunately. Like, I don't work in a hospital. I'm not a doctor. I'm not psychologist, psychiatrist. I'm not a social worker. I'm not a case manager. I'm definitely not involved in crises. It, it's just really disturbing how I keep calling it the system, but essentially that's what it is. The mental health care in America. You can even argue in the world, it's not perfect. And so many times we blame ourselves, or people we know blame themselves. Like, how could this happen? How could this person get overlooked? Um, the quote unquote we, or all of us, if you want to call it that. How how did we let one person fall so fast and so hard that people began losing hope? People began thinking nothing could be done for them. And of course, a large part of it is a willingness to be treated, a willingness to be, I don't know, interviewed or whatever. Or, what do they call it? It's called like processed, or I don't know. Um, and the language barrier wasn't as bad as it could have been. Mine, I'm not so sure, but like I said, I'm not exactly fluent. And I I don't know if you could call it heartbreaking, but is there another word for it? I don't think there is. And it makes you question how much good people in general are actually doing. People who work in this field. Maybe it's my naivete with these regular, quote unquote, regular situations, but you begin to ask yourself, like, could I phrase something differently? Could I suggest something else? And I gotta explain. I'm at the ground level. I'm at the bottom of the mountain. I'm not on top. I'm nowhere close to being on top. Um, it's like I, I haven't been trained, at least not in that stuff. I'm not qualified in terms of degrees or education. Um, People in general, including myself, we have histories. We have a paper trail, and it's gonna follow us the rest of our lives. Um, what the good news is, it's supposed to be confidential, but we all saw what happened with that. Maybe semi a while back, but still happened. And it makes you think that. Sorry. It makes you think that the people with good intentions, good intentions are gonna make someone feel better. I mean, good intentions are nice and all, but I mean, you don't want to get in the habit where you're like, things can always be worse. Like, especially you want to look at yourself and say that. Or just every situation is not entirely the same as every other situation, circumstances, etc. I feel like for quote unquote veterans of this process, of the healthcare system, I mean, yeah, when they leave that building, we can only hope for the best, but that doesn't always happen. I hope our hopes are not always realized or fulfilled. I just felt so bad. You don't want to get in the habit of being like, that could have been me. You don't want to do that. It will still cross your mind, but you should not. I don't want to say you shouldn't be conversing or admitting that to people, but the week's not been over yet, and it was just an accumulation of things so far. Not just today, but the other day, these past few months, the past recent years, before, after the pandemic, etc. At some point, a family member, a parent, a guardian, sibling in some cases, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to hope for? I mean, I guess I'm not saying I agree with this, but I guess you can always say it's in God's hands now. It's me personally. That's never been good enough for me. No, I'm not saying it's a wrong thing to think. I'm just saying I'm not religious in that sense. I just have a really bad feeling that I'm never going to see any of those people again. I'm not going to know how they turned out. I'm not going to know if the system finally succeeded with them. It'll just be another day. I made a post on my X, or is it still called Twitter? Is it X or Twitter? I'm not sure. I made a post like, I'm looking at it right now, like back in mid-February. It was called "If I Can Stop One Heart from Breaking." I don't know where I heard of that. I don't know. Did I make that up? Or did I get it from somewhere? I don't know. Um, it doesn't always imply in the romantic sense, of course, but it applies to a lot of things. I mean, I would like to think we're not supposed to give up on people. But what if we want to, but we pretend we don't. We, I hate to say this again, but we hope for the best. We 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 trick ourselves into thinking things might get better, and we trick ourselves into thinking that things might not get better. But I never know the answers to those questions, at least not with other people. Um, am I in a better place than where I was 10 years ago? Probably. It was just, I don't know if this does it justice, but it just hit really close to home. It just makes me think, like, how insignificant can my role be in this whole process? I I don't know. I mean, all I can really say is I tried. Then you got the two devils on your shoulders saying, "Did you try your best? Did you try hard enough?" Again, I don't have the answer to those questions. So the logical response would be, why ask them? If there's no answer for them, then why ask them? I I guess we all need something to keep ourselves up at night. I don't want to say it was like looking into a mirror, but and I'm growing to hate this statement, but it's so true that things can always be worse. But am I trying to make myself happy or projecting my hope on other people? It's just, with the system of the way it is, it didn't have to go down this way. There, there could have been so many other ways that could have prevented this, or really slowed and calmed the process down a bit. Like, I obviously I don't know all the details. I I don't know how hospital paperwork goes and all that stuff. The bureaucracy of it. In some cases, the financial side of it. Um, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, and they'll come in for an appointment months from now, and they'll be on the more stable side of things, of the layout of the building, even physically, and I'll be back where I was. In terms of me continuing to work here or not, I I don't know. I don't know the best solution to anyone's problems, quote unquote problems, but I don't want to lie to people, you know. I don't want to give them false hope. I don't want to tell them that, you know, everything's gonna be okay, because I don't know that. The majority of people don't know that. That's just something they say. But we say it to people anyway because we hope it makes them feel better. And that that whole thing, that something that should have taken less than half an hour, which dragged on for like 4 or 5 hours. And I I just if the system doesn't always get it right, then what's the point of having a system? Um, I don't know. I really didn't expect this video to go this long. This is like 20 minutes so far of me alluding to things that I guess they happened. Whether they'll continue to happen or not, I hope not. But what really can we do besides learn from our mistakes? But there's some mistakes that should never have been made. Alright, oh, funny story. This is just a quick end to this video. I came into a name I recognized, and out of curiosity, I was gonna figure out if the business, so to speak, of the place, it was a private business, if the name had any relation, and I actually checked it, like out of like sheer curiosity and suspense, but you know, obviously, I had nothing to do with it was just a coincidence, the names, and but the fact that I actually tried to verify it was kind of lets you know where my head is. Just it's all over the place right now. I just I just think I need to rest a little bit. Maybe unwind, or I get so many fucking emails these days. These days it's ridiculous. I'm just you know what I feel like? Here's what I feel like. I feel like it's we're back in the bubble. We're back in the NBA bubble. And you know, obviously I'm not, but let's say I was or I am. I feel like I'm Steph Curry and I'm carrying this team on my fucking back alone to try to make the fucking playoffs. When I know damn well that if we make a playoffs, we're gonna get eliminated. Like this, it's gonna happen. And we at the time of the bubble, we just didn't have enough weapons. I don't know if the Warriors are making the playoffs this season. They're like the 10th seed right now in rankings, and obviously you have to make the top 8 to go to the playoffs. I think they're gonna do that play-in tournament thing again, which I mean that should work out in their favor. And now I'm rambling on about something else that has nothing else to do with this beginning middle of the video. All right, guys. It was scary. It was it reminded me of things that I didn't want to be reminded of. But hey, it's just another day in paradise. It's just another day at the office. But I would like to think that I'm doing some good somehow. I mean, I used to think that I owed my workplace, that I owed them like something, like my effort, because I I didn't fall through the cracks of the system. I might have dipped into them a little bit, but I didn't fall through. And I I don't know. It's a weird feeling. It's sometimes I feel like I have to be there, like not just because of a paycheck or something to do or something to structure my week. Um, like the way things played through in my life and my circumstances, I could have easily have been overlooked or pointed in the wrong direction, and I wasn't. That never happened. And I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I don't know who I was supposed to thank. How I am supposed to show my my gratefulness, my gratitude. How am I supposed to show that? How I should have put my phone on vibrate. How does me doing what I do, how can that stop one heart from breaking? All right. I wish there was better news to share than this, but take care of yourselves and each other.